Hey, 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 what's going on? Instagram, how are you guys on this hump day? How are you on this hump day? Hump day, hump day, hump day. Listen, I am going to be talking with a special guest momentarily. She will be joining me. Hey, Tax and Credit, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. But guys, I wanted to talk to you guys really quickly as you guys are coming in the room. As you are coming in the room, if you could please just do me a huge favor. Integrity.tax.pros. What's up? How are you? Let me know where you guys are chiming in from. Let me know what's going on. I want to know, how many tax professionals do we have on this line? How many tax professionals? If you are a tax professional, put a 1 in the chat. If you are a CPA, a certified public accountant, put a 2 in the chat for me. If you are a CPA, put a 2 in the chat for me. If you are an enrolled agent, go ahead and just put a 3 in the chat. DFW, Texas. You know, my algorithms tell me that I have so many people that are following me from Texas and Houston, but it's odd because I don't know who's who. So I always ask you guys to introduce yourselves. But the algorithms tells me, of course, hello, Don, of course, that Los Angeles is number 1. And then it always is a toss between Houston, Texas, and Dallas, Texas. Now, I will say that a lot of my clients are in Texas, but they're my clients. And so I seldom see them on my lives, but that's good to know. Your family CPA, thank you so much. We'll be joining you just a moment. So listen, guys, if you are a tax professional, put a 1 in the chat. And if you are a CPA, a certified public accountant, put a 2 in the chat. And if you are an EA, enrolled agent, just put a 3 in the chat for me. Put a 3 in the chat and let me know what state you are chiming in from. All right. And listen, I need some love. I need some hearts, and I want this to be interactive. So you all make sure as we go along, ask your questions, put your questions down below. Can y'all do me that favor? If you can put your questions down below, say, I will put questions down below. Write it out in the chat. I will put my questions down below. All right. So we got a few tax professionals that are joining us, and I am so excited because I'm going to bring my guests up momentarily. But listen, guys, we are talking about let's stop assuming today. It is tax season, and oftentimes what we hear from our clients is, he did me wrong, she did me wrong. But that's not always the case to my tax clients, to our taxpayers out there. Listen, we're all taxpayers, but let's stop assuming. So we're going to have this conversation about assuming and refunds and what's really going on. Okay. So I want to bring my guest speaker. You got to ask to join me, Jasmine, and I'll let you in the house. So before Jasmine comes up, Jasmine is our guest for today. I am Dr. Cozette M, America's #1 tax and accounting strategist. For those of you who don't know, I am a 6-time best-selling author. I am an author of 9 books. We just released our 9th book, Tax Strategies for Small Businesses. You guys can head over to Amazon.com. Amazon.com. Just put in the Google search, Dr. Cozette M. White, and the book is there. All right. Tax Strategies for Small Business Owners. We are talking about reasonable compensation, nonprofit returns or nonprofit entities. We are talking about retirement. What does it look like, retirement? We're talking about structuring your business. So there's tons and tons and tons of things that are in this book for my small businesses that you guys can take opportunity and go get. Hey, Jasmine, how's it going, girl? I am doing well. I am doing fantastic on this hump day. It is the middle of the week, you guys, and we have officially kicked off tax season. Yes. Hey, Street Legends. Hey, BXB. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for joining. So listen, we have officially kicked off tax season. And so Jasmine and we're going to talk about some things, but I asked her a couple of questions before we hopped on, and I want to address these 2 things. Number 1, before we even get started, go ahead and introduce yourself, Jasmine.
Yes, ma'am. So, if for those of you who don't know, my name is Jasmine Young, affectionately known as your family CPA. I own a CPA firm based here in Atlanta, Georgia, where we provide both individuals and businesses with strategies on how to build and maintain generational wealth through our accounting services. I've been doing this for a little over 8 years. I also have over 11 years of government experience, having worked as an auditor across 3 different agencies, worked with NASA as a contract specialist back when the space program ended. So I'm well versed in both the public and private sectors of the industry. I love what I do. I love financial literacy. I love educating people. Services is just an extra way of doing it and a way to monetize it. But I love to do it. Created a nonprofit out of it as well called the Financial Literacy Institute, where we actually create courses for people to go online and actually take courses about financial literacy. If you prefer a self-guided method, we put on events, community events, and programs to help spread financial literacy around the globe in our underserved and underrepresented communities.
All right, so you guys heard it. You heard exactly what she does. She's there in Atlanta, Georgia, which I love. That's another area where you guys, my top clients, are in Atlanta, Georgia. So California, yes, Atlanta, Houston, and Dallas is always a toss. So I want to have this conversation with you because one thing that you and I both know in this industry right now, this time of the year, especially this week when the first of the groups are coming to get their taxes done, there's always this misconception that things are wrong, that we don't know what we're talking about. And so I wanted to have that conversation with you twofold. I'm going to talk about the expectancy, and I'm going to talk to you about our clients. So in having this conversation with Jasmine, she shared with me that there's this thing about our clients always making assumptions that we are wrong. So let's have this open dialogue to the community, to the tribes, about what actually takes place when we are processing a return. Because one thing that I want to share with you guys, there's a difference between a tax professional and a tax pro. Let's say that one more time. One more time.
That's the biggest
You want to say that for me, Jasmine?
That is the biggest issue. There is a huge difference between a tax professional and a tax pro. I call them people who do taxes.
Two totally different things. So listen, guys, I've been in the industry for well over 20 years. I've been doing taxes damn near close to 30. Let's just keep it real. And so really longer than that if I think about when I was in grade school. No, I'm just kidding. But I've been doing taxes long enough. So when we think about a professional versus a tax pro, there is a difference. And one thing that I can say, being that I've been in this school, I'm true to it, not new to it. Let's keep it real. I'm true to it and not new to it. There are individuals that are brand new in the industry, and nothing against them at all. But when you guys want to come to our offices, our firms, and you want to have this debate, this negotiation, this thing about, is it right? You might want to go check yourself. Before you come up to somebody's office asking, is it right? Listen, don't try to go from office to office negotiating. So Jasmine, let's talk about it.
Yes. So I that's one of my pet peeves. I always tell people, you know, the tax law is the same for everybody. If every professional that's doing your return prepared it the exact same way according to the law, everybody should get the same result. There should not be a reason why this professional gets 8,000 and we're showing that you're only getting 2. If there's a drastic difference like that, you really have to sit back and think, okay, is this really the right way? Especially if you've made money and you haven't paid any taxes, you're not claiming any children, you don't have a business. Why are you getting $8,000 back and you haven't even paid 10%, which is the lowest tax bracket that you could possibly be in? That logically it makes no sense. So that's one of the biggest pain points that I've experienced being in the industry, where people come into your office and they automatically assume that they're going to get a refund. That's not always the case. And just because you don't get a refund doesn't mean your preparer did something wrong. It could mean that you didn't pay enough taxes during the year. If you did pay taxes, it could mean that you didn't pay enough. You weren't withholding enough from your paycheck. You weren't making estimated tax payments as a business owner. It could mean so many things, which is why I tell people tax time isn't just January to April. It's year round. You should be talking to your professional all throughout the year, doing tax planning, so that when the tax season actually comes, you already have an idea of what to expect. And you've had the ability to adjust your tax strategy to get the result that you want to actually see when you prepare the return, when you get your return prepared. So you have to really, think in your mind, the person that I'm trusting to prepare my return, did I vet them as a professional? Do they have a PTIN? Are they listed on the directory of federal tax return
I'm not sure if the folks out there heard you, because I don't even know if they know about it. You said something like a P10. What is a P10, and why should I even be concerned about it? I don't know anything about it. Can you just kind of educate me on that?
Yes. So a P10 is a preparer tax identification number. Every preparer that is paid to prepare taxes should have one. They are required by the IRS to have one. If they do not have one and they're preparing your return, they are very likely.
So can you tell me, like,
if
how can I verify that someone has a P10?
Yes.
Because I don't know, like, I'm just new. I've been going to H&R Block, and I've been doing it on TurboTax, and I just decided all of a sudden that I want to hire a professional. What should I be looking for?
So you can go to the directory of federal tax return preparers. Go to the irs.gov website, and you can actually search for your professional on that directory. If they're not listed, it's also going to list their credentials. If they're a CPA, pay preparer, if they are an enrolled agent, a tax attorney, those credentials are going to be listed. And you can search by area. Let's say you search and you don't find your professional and you don't have anybody to go to. It will actually give you professionals in your area with the credentials that have a P10 that you can actually reach out to. So it's a way to say, this is somebody that the IRS, that's registered with the IRS, that is responsible, that has a requirement to do due diligence when they're preparing the return. So I can trust this person that they're not going to do anything that's going to put their livelihood in jeopardy because they have a reporting requirement.
I gotta say something about, because I don't care if they're on that P10 directory. Some of them have requirements, but they don't fulfill those requirements. So listen, I'm gonna be just real honest. Like, y'all gotta expect what you expect. You gotta do your due diligence. You gotta ask for a referral.
Right.
Forget what you see on social media, because everybody puts on their Sunday's best when they come to social media, and what's happening in the back room, it's all jacked up. It's all jacked up. So let's inspect what we expect. Ask for referrals. Check on those referrals. Do your own research. Just because somebody looks good from the surface, trust me, baby, I see returns all day. I see W-2s, and I can tell you that some people got some jacked up stuff going on in their life, but the persona that they bring to me, baby, I would think they got it going on if I didn't see them W-2s and see everything else. So let's Let's get on that directory.
Check the referrals too. Check the referrals too, because everybody that's referred to you may not even be a professional. They may be a ghost preparer. If somebody says, hey, you should go to this person, they got me a certain amount back, I can almost guarantee you something in the milk ain't clean. You need to really sit down, see if they have a P10. Ask them, well, hey, did they sign the return that they prepared it? Did they discuss the return with you before you signed it and filed it? Did they charge the fees that they charge? Always a giveaway. If they charge you a percentage of your refund, that means that they charge you a contingency fee, meaning that they're actually relying on a specific result in order for them to get paid. If they're relying on a specific result, what makes you think that they're not going to invent fictitious income and expenses to get you more money so they can get more money?
Right.
It happens
also
every
to our
day.
everyday taxpayer who's not a preparer, you all need to take personal accountability as well. You need to ask questions.
Yes.
You need to ask. You need to really ask.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to make sure that your preparer, especially if you're going to someone new, that they explain to you what's in that return. Common sense. Let's
Yes.
think about it. Let's just be real. Common sense. Do you normally get a $8,000, $16,000 return? You go to somebody and they call themselves hooking you up. Again, a contingency fee. They're hooking you up, but they're getting a percentage of that refund. Come on, y'all.
A cut.
Come on. Does that sound right? If it don't sound
Another
right, then it ain't
thing. Some of them, right, and some of them actually, and we found this out to be true during COVID when they were releasing the stimulus checks, that some of these preparers were actually having these taxpayers' refunds deposited in their own personal bank accounts and then giving the money to the taxpayer. That is a huge no, red flag. No professional holding a credential is going to do that.
We can get in
because
trouble for doing that.
Yes.
You can definitely be fined. And I want to throw this out. I'm in California, you guys. So not only can you check with the Internal Revenue Service, but if you're in California or someone in the state of California is preparing your return, there is something called ctec.org, ctec.org. You can go to that website to determine if your preparer in California is registered. We cannot accept any monetary benefit on a return unless we are registered with ctec.org. That means in the state of California, we have to register, we have to be bonded, and we have to remit our continuing education hours, by which way, you guys, we are a continuing education school here, but you have to remit your hours every single year when you register. Renew your registration with the state of California. Those hours for California go over to the Internal Revenue Service, so we don't have to take the additional tests like some of our colleagues do, but we do have to have those 20 hours every single year, federal and state, in the state of California. So it's not a ghost preparer, is someone who is doing your return on Intuit, not in any type of professional software. They don't have an EFIN number on there, a ERO, a PTIN. They have none of those things on that return. They fail to sign the return, and they could care less if you're getting back a huge return because they are a ghost. They feel as though the IRS cannot track them. But baby, we have something called IP address, right? And y'all who want to say, well, I can get rid of my computer, all of that mess, keep playing with the Internal Revenue Service. Keep playing. Keep playing.
Absolutely. Right. And also, too, 9 times out of 10, they're charging you cash because they don't want any record.
Exactly.
You paid them
like,
for this service.
I had one lady tell me that she was not going to get busted and her clients would not report her because she was doing it under the table. Okay, keep playing. Let one person piss somebody off.
Let somebody get a letter.
See if they don't call that number and report you. Okay.
Right. And then a lot of people don't even know where to start when it comes to reporting somebody. You can report somebody that is violating tax laws. You can report somebody that is engaging in improper tax preparation practices. You can report them to the IRS. There are forms out there, a 3949A. You can file that. You can, if somebody steals your identity, there's a form for that. If they are, like I said, just improper practices altogether, there's another form for that. I can't think of the form off the top of my head, but you can actually go to the IRS's website and report them. And we need you to do that because they actually give professionals like Dr. White and I a bad name. We're having to refute information that they're spreading around the globe. And people are questioning whether or not we're accurate, whether or not we're telling the truth, or whether or not what we did on a return was right or wrong. Right. So report these people. Help us help you clean this industry up so that people, if you get a refund, fine. It's not that anybody's trying to keep a refund from you or trying to steal your money. I promise you, it's 3 people in the world you don't want problems with. That's the I, the R, and the S. Please report these people.
So I wanted to talk about this other thing about expectation. You know, it's not about entitlement, but I said expectation. And we briefly touched about it on it. Well, before I get into that, like, I want to talk to all my professionals out there. I asked you guys, if you are an accountant, excuse me, if you're a tax preparer, to put a 1 in the chat. If you're a CPA, to put a 2 in the chat. And if you're an enrolled agent, put a 3 in the chat. So I like questions. I like activity. I don't like to just be on here with me and my guests. I need for you guys to ask me some questions. So listen, what I really want to do is, when people assume, how can we actually, as professionals growing our business, how can we help our customers by making sure that they have a wow customer experience? Part of it that I personally believe, and you said it earlier, is education, educating and setting the tone. But I also want to say this, and I mean this so wholeheartedly to everyone that is listening to me. If you're a business owner or you're not a business owner, when we decide who it is that we want to work with, when we determine our niche, we are also setting the tone for these types of things. If you are a professional and you don't have a particular niche, and you're working with any and everybody, then you will get any and everybody coming into your space that will assume that you are not correct, or who will assume that it is our obligation to get them back a refund. It's not that type of game. But it starts with your niche, you guys, and it starts with your onboarding expectation, your onboarding experience that you provide for your clients. So that all plays a part in it as well. So I honestly say, like, and y'all don't, you can believe me or not, like, I pick and choose who I work with, number one. And I do experience it, don't get me wrong, but I don't experience what some of our colleagues do, because I have been in the industry so long and I've niched down to determine who it is that I work with. And I'm being honest, like, I counted them last week. I only had 13 EICs last year. Now, don't get it wrong. Like, do I do taxes? Yes, we process at least 300 to 400 every single tax season. Last year, we had 13. So that tells you who our ideal clients are, you guys, is mainly business clients. And so it alleviates some of the headache. Like, everybody else, like, been sending, transmitting files already. We've been doing something a little different, because our ideal client is not the EIC client or the income that's on the lower level, that's the first ones to come in and get their returns done. Nothing wrong with it. That's just not my niche. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Nothing wrong with it.
Right. I definitely agree. That was one of the things that I learned coming along when I first started. It was like, yeah, I'm trying to build my book of business, but now it's like, hey, you actually have to apply to even get access to my calendar to speak with me, because there's only certain people that I'm going to work with that have the mindset that are teachable, that can be educated. There are people out there that don't want to be educated. They have no degree, or they don't know anything about taxes, but they want to come in and tell you what's right and what's wrong based off of what somebody said on TikTok. And that's just not what we're trying to do over here. We did not go to school for 4+ years, sit for a 4-part exam just to be told by someone who maybe not even went to college that we're doing something that is inaccurate. So I definitely understand choosing who you work with. And it's not necessarily that you have anything against a certain group of people. It's just, hey, in order for us to be sane, because this is a hectic time of the year for us, in order for us to be sane, these are the specific groups of people that I'm willing to work with and willing to prepare returns for, so that I can keep my mental capacity to be.
Real quick, let me give some shout outs to some people. Hey, your family CPA, that's you. Parshas Tax, I think that's how it's pronounced. Javier Blair, Lady JXO, Boss Lady Keisha, Steve 1906, I think that's what that's supposed to be. Marshawn Tree, I think that's how it's pronounced. T-Dub, the mechanic, how you doing? D3, TRM, Be Fit, To Be Fit, JA Financial Services, Prestige Sharon, Alpha CPA, Tax and Credit, QYM Song. I'm gonna say hey because I'm about to jack some names up. But how y'all doing? Thank you so much for joining us on this live. Listen, I want you guys to know you can follow me on all social media platforms at Cozette M White. Today, and we're gonna get to my guest. Today, we're talking about let's stop assuming. Let's just stop assuming that you are supposed to be getting a refund. Let's stop assuming that who you go to is not doing their due diligence or doing you wrong or anything just because your refund amount that you got last year, the year before, 2, 3, 5 years ago is not where it's at today. We told you guys back in 2018 things changed. We told you in 2019 things changed. We hit pandemic in 20. Y'all got a little extra money or something. 21, you got a little bit of extra money, but guess what? Things are beginning to normalize. Things are beginning to change this year. Okay, they're changing. Okay, child tax credit is lower. You know, all these credits are normalizing and getting back or being cut. So if you went from an employee to a self-employed individual and you are now self-employed, you probably didn't pay no taxes. You just got what came out of that W-2, that whatever was withheld, you got that money and that was it that you remitted to the Internal Revenue Service. Now, Jasmine, I could keep talking, but let's tell them why they don't really need to be loaning the IRS their money all year anyway. So
you said it. It's a loan. Think about this. When you go and borrow money from the bank, you don't just take them their money back. You take their money back plus interest and a finance charge. But when you get a refund from the IRS, it's not this money that they just decided, you know what, I'm going to give this to you. A refund is just that. It's money that you paid them that they're giving back to you for overpayment. Now, they ain't going to give you no interest on it unless, you know, they hold your return for an extended amount of time. And
but
even then, it's like
$10,
$12,
they got to pay taxes on that $10, $20, $30 that they don't even realize.
Exactly. And they charge you interest. They charge you taxes on the interest that they pay you. So they're getting it right back. So you don't actually want a refund. Your goal is to break even. It's to break even. Now, of course, if you are purchasing a home, trying to get a business loan, the goal of your tax return may alter a little bit, but the goal should never be to get a refund. It should always be to break even. I will even err on the side of
exactly just a little bit.
As long as you're not, because think about it, if you're getting an $10,000 return back, think about what the hardships you went through the year that you could have used that $8,000 to $10,000
it's not even that.
To do whatever
I want you guys to think about it on a bigger picture. Think about the Internal Revenue Service getting my 8,000, your 8,000, thousands of people's 8,000. That's sitting for them accumulating interest. You helping now. You can put that 8,000 somewhere and benefit from it. Yes, the interest rates are extremely low, but guys, do something for yourself. Create generational wealth. Start building a legacy. Start doing things smarter with your money. You guys have bills that you are accumulating, credit cards that you are accumulating interest on. You could take that 8,000 that you've given them, pay that credit card debt down, and not have an additional interest that you're paying on that card. We have got to educate. So it goes back to assuming and expecting a refund. Guys, it's not about we doing you wrong. We want you guys to, we want to educate you.
Be smart about your money.
That's the thing.
We want you to be smarter.
Be smarter. You work really hard for it. We all work really hard for it. So let's value it. Let's treasure it. Let's treat our money a little differently. You know, think about the mindset. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. It is. It's a whole nother conversation. But I want you guys to know this. Seriously, to those of us who are taxpayers, which that's all of us, right? If we work, we report net income. When you go to your tax appointment, please be prepared that you may hear something that you don't want to. Your refund may not be where you anticipated them. Please know that if you made a shift in 2022, you went from, because a lot of people left the jobs. You had a full-time job, you were being paid that paycheck to paycheck, taxes was coming out, You became a self-employed individual. You started making money your first year, or maybe you didn't make money. Whatever the case was, did you pay estimated taxes?
Right.
9 times out of 10, that answer is no.
Right.
Why? I've been looking at numbers all my life. So it's no. So how do you expect to get a
Right.
large refund? Let's think about it logically. And I know that that's asking a whole lot, but let's think about it logically. Jasmine,
Absolutely. I
where
agree.
can they follow you? Where can they stay in tune to you?
Yes. So on all social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it is Your Family CPA. That's YOUR family, regular FAMILY CPA. You can also follow my firm, S as in Sam, H as in Hector, F as in Foxtrot, G as in Globe, and then the word global. So that's SHFG Global on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can follow me and my
All right,
firm.
so you guys heard it first. So listen, I want to talk to my CPAs, my EAs, and my tax pros. Those of you that are hanging out, and I so appreciate, I know Jasmine appreciates you guys hanging out with us. I want to extend an invite to you guys. We talked about assuming. I talked of people assuming things. I talked about identifying your niche, the customer enrollment program. How do you onboard? How do you offboard? All of this plays a role, you all. At Thrive Live, which is my conference, I'll be putting on May 11th through the 13th. I want to invite you. I want to help you close the gap. If there's a gap that is, something is not right in your firm, you don't know what you should be doing to properly onboard, you're forgetting some of the steps to offboard. You're dealing with clients that are nagging. You're afraid to raise your prices because you're afraid that they're going to leave you.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You're probably working with the wrong clients. I invite you guys to hang out with me for 3 days. We're going to talk about mindset. We're talking about putting a strategy in place so that my goal is wherever you end in April, well, I'm going to help you carry the rest of the year out so that you can meet that goal. If it's $500,000, $750,000, if it's getting to your first 6 figures, I want to help you accomplish that. Mindset, strategies, pricing, proposals, packaging. We're going to talk about your messaging. If your message is off, which I'm telling you it is off, if you are complaining about your clients saying that they assume that they're getting a certain amount back, you're not talking to your ideal client. Your message on social media is off. Your message that you are conveying to the marketplace is incorrect. You have not identified who your ideal client is. I want to help you bridge that gap. I want to help you close it. At Thrive Live, we're going to be doing this. We're going to talk about leveraging with our systems, our automation. If you don't have systems and automations in place correctly, onboarding, offboarding is off. Okay. And building a team. Listen, guys, I'm gonna say this. Some of you, I'm gonna step on some toes, but right now I'm in my Cozette, Dr. Cozetteism. Listen, a lot of us are onboarding tons and tons and tons of team members, what we call service bureau. I'm cool with it. I'm okay, you guys. But as the leader of your organization, what systems do you have in place? Do you have standard operating procedures? Are you building and molding these individuals so that they can leave your service bureau and build their own empire? Or are you hoarding them and saying, you're going to stay with me? A good leader brings people with them and allows them to fly. I want to see you guys at Thrive Live. The link is in my bio. It is May 11th through the 13th. I want to see you in the house. Tickets are on sale. All you got to do is head up to my bio or down, and it's in the thread. Thrive Live Experience, May 11th through the 13th, here in Los Angeles, California. I want to see you in the house. I want to meet you. I want to give you a big hug, and I want to see you in this year. Very, very powerful. Very powerful, you all. We are tired of talking. It's time to take action. It's time to go from stuck to unstoppable. With that being said, what final words would you like to say, Jasmine?
I would just like to say, for those of you who haven't gotten ready to get your taxes done, don't stress about it. I promise you, if you find a tax professional like Dr. Cozette, like myself, that is looking to educate you, it will make tax season less taxing for you. I promise you. So focus on that. If you're stressed every year, try to find a new professional that helps you to alleviate that stress and that wants to educate you. I promise you, tax season will never be the same for you.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. I know we could be doing a tons of other things, but listen, you guys have an amazing day. Don't stress and don't wait till the last minute. Okay, if you know that you're not ready, if you know, I don't care, it's what, the 25th, the 25th of January. My daughter's birthday is tomorrow. If it's the 25th of January, and you know right now, like, I'm not gonna be ready, raise your hand and call us now so we can put you on that list and do that extension when we start doing them extensions. Okay, we love you to death for that. All right, you guys have an amazing hump day. I can't wait to catch you on my next Thriving Conversations. Take care and make sure you follow both of us. Okay, take care, you guys. Bye, Jasmine.
Bye, Dr. White. I'm actually going to be in LA tomorrow.
You know what?
Well, then, wait,
let's connect on the other side so that I can find out where. Okay. All right. Bye, you guys.
Yes, ma'am.